Well, what an afternoon we have in store here in Ekaterinburg, and 500 miles away in Kazan, where South Korea take on Germany. Remember, all four countries are still in with a chance of reaching the knockout round. It could get horrendously complicated, so I brought along my calculator. I might still have to phone a friend to work out exactly who's going to qualify here. Let's deal with the only real certainty, and that is that a win or draw for Mexico means that they will definitely go through to the round of 16 as winners of Group F, and they will face the runners-up of Group E, which is similarly clouded in uncertainty. It could be Brazil, Switzerland or Serbia. After that, it gets tricky, very tricky, but more of that later. Former Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino alongside me. Tony, what a scenario we have here. Mexico win or draw, they'll top the group. Germany and Sweden can also qualify, and there's even a situation where South Korea, currently bottom of the table with no points at all, could scrape into the next round. I hope your maths is better than mine.
Well, to be honest, Alan, I haven't seen the Germany-Korea lineups, but what we know today, these teams are going both as strong as they can, and that's telling you they're both going to try and win this game. So it's a real contrast of styles. One is a counter-attack in Mexico, Sweden direct, and they will go after you and play diagonal balls to the two big centre forwards in Bergen and Toivonen, and I think this is a great clash in World Cup football of styles.
Who do you fancy? It looks close on paper, this. Who do you think has the best chance of winning this match?
Well, I think as long as Mexico can keep it tight, I think they'll get chances later on, because there will be a part of Sweden where they have to overcommit. But I'm so interested, because look, what we did see against Germany, Mexico totally outplayed Germany for an hour. They really had them running and chasing everywhere and outplayed them football-wise. This isn't that contrast, a different style. So I think I'm so interested to see how Mexico handle a big, physical, strong Swedish team.
Quick word about the other game taking place at the same time, of course, in Kazan. Surely you've got to fancy Germany to beat South Korea.
You'd like to think so, but Germany haven't pulled up any trees at the moment in this tournament. I've been disappointed. I thought they were very fortunate against Sweden. One from a bad foul that they'd committed that allowed them to win the game with Tony Kroos. Fantastic free kick. This man had been he'd have gone through a really tough Jan Anderson, a few tough days, because he's the guy that managed that situation. He's had to deal with the players in the last few days.
90 minutes of exciting World Cup football lies ahead. I'm sure there'll be lots of twists and turns along the way before we know the identity of the two teams who will qualify from Group F. And of course we'll keep you in touch with the action from South Korea against Germany, with the outcome of that game in Kazan obviously having a major impact on events here in Ekaterinburg. Mexico in their famous green jerseys, Sweden in their equally well-known yellow jerseys and blue shorts. The referee is from Argentina, Nestor Pitana. Argentina, who made all the headlines last night, of course. So it's a massive game. If Mexico win or draw it, they'll win the group and face the runners-up of Group E in St. Petersburg on July the 3rd. They could lose and still qualify if the result in the other game between Germany and South Korea goes their way. But they won't want to risk that, obviously. So I think here we will see two teams going all out for success. Sweden beat South Korea 1-0 in their opening game, but that last-minute goal condemned them to defeat against Germany and could come back to haunt them if this group ends up being decided on head-to-head. They've got no real stars in this Sweden team, certainly since Ibrahimovic retired, but they have got a great team spirit. They're a hard side to beat. They kept 7 clean sheets in their 12 qualifying matches, and along the way, by the way, they beat 2 of Europe's finest to qualify in Italy and the Netherlands. Can they now beat one of the best from Central America? I think the referee got them out there a little bit early, by the way, because the players have been ready for a minute or two now, and finally the Argentine referee blows his whistle to get the game underway. Sweden, in those yellow shirts, immediately dispatched the ball to midway inside the Mexican half, and already the referee has produced a yellow card and given a free kick for a really high challenge there, which has left the Swedish player down injured, and that's setting his stall out already. Gallardo, the left back, came clattering into Ola Toivonen. There's no question it was a free kick. Whether it should be a yellow card this early in the game, well, the referee decided it should.
Well, he just comes in the back and Toivonen in the back, lifts his arm. I feel that's really harsh after, 13 seconds, 12 seconds?
Yeah.
That's a really harsh yellow card. Toivonen, who I'm sure will be a threat with aerial set pieces like this, because he's a big, strong lad, got a fantastic goal against Germany.
And the hugely experienced Seb Larsson, once of Arsenal, Birmingham, Sunderland, now with Hull City, will take this free kick midway inside the Mexican half. They've got two big, strong strikers in Toivonen and Berg. Granqvist, the skipper, also a giant of a man, as Larsson delivers up towards the far post. Mexico struggling! Oh, and it could well have been an early start there and an early goal for Sweden. A missed kick inside the 6-yard box, as that free kick from Seb Larsson caused some chaos amongst the Mexican defenders.
Well, Alan, this is what I was talking about before the game, that this style that Sweden have can be very effective. It's well drilled, and as we see there, Granqvist went forward, and as you see Berg's head up across the face of the ball at 6-yard box, no one can quite get to the final touch, but that is exactly what they're about. But can Mexico deal with it today?
Well, it's the start that Sweden would have wanted. They've gone right onto the front foot here, forced a free kick in the opening seconds and the yellow card for Gallardo. And incidentally, yellow cards is one of the criteria that could decide this group. Mexico had the best record in that respect before that yellow card. They'd only had 2. Germany had had 4 and a red card, of course. Now Mexico have got 3, the same number as Sweden. But it's unlikely, I think, to come down to that fair play criteria. But you never know in this highly complicated group. Sweden certainly the first onto the attack here, and they have the ball in the centre of the field with Ekdal, who plays it out to the right-hand side to Ole Toivonen, who scored against Germany, and his cross straight into the hands of Guillermo Ochoa, the highly experienced Mexican keeper playing in his 4th World Cup now. They do like to counter-attack quickly, Mexico, but they might not get away with that tactic against a Swedish side that is used to not having much possession. They're trying to defend in numbers and snatch a goal, often from set pieces. So, as you mentioned, Tony, an interesting clash of styles in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they've got a problem, Mexico, because Sweden's back 4, especially their fullbacks, won't venture forward. So if they don't venture forward, there's not much space for them to be able to play. So Mexico are going to probably have to suffer an enormous amount of pressure in this game with dealing with Sweden's style, but wait for their opportunities. Try and pick Sweden off.
Mexico trying to build from the back this time. Lustig meets the high ball into the Swedish half and just heads it to Victor Lindelof, who didn't figure in that opening game against South Korea, the Manchester United man, but he did start against Germany and again today. The goalkeeper at the other end of the field has come right out to the very edge of his penalty area to collect the ball. He looked dangerously close to carrying the ball over the line, and I think that's what the Argentine referee has decided.
This game started so hectic. Well, it's a marginal. I don't know how you can give that against, because it's bouncing in the air. It's about a yard higher towards the chest of the keeper. I'm not sure the referee can be vindicated by giving a free kick in this position.
That's a harsh decision, because they say, if it's a tackle, if it's on the line, then it's officially inside the penalty area. He caught it on the line, so it's officially inside.
His feet were certainly on the line. He's caught it chest high. He doesn't look like he's outside the box, but again, a difficult situation for Mexico to deal with. This is where Sweden are at their very best.
2 early decisions going against Mexico here. A yellow card in the opening seconds, and now this contentious free kick right on the very left edge as Sweden attack of the Mexican penalty area. The whole crowd of players inside the 6-yard box. The goalkeeper Ochoa will do well to see this, and it comes in, and he did do well to see it and punched it clear of danger when it looks as though it might cross the line. In the end, the whistle has gone, and either a free kick or a goal kick, I think, has been awarded to Mexico. But what another scary moment for them that was. Brilliant free kick.
Oh, what a free kick this is, and I've got to say the keeper done particularly well. Well, it's scrambling, it's coming, it's getting whipped in by Forsberg. Here's his strength, dead ball situations. But they could have been 2-0 down, and we're only, 5 minutes into the game. They've had two very good chances. As Berg comes in at a far post, he just can't make full contact with the header.
And incidentally, when that loose ball came out again, it looked as though Granqvist, the Swedish captain, was pushed in the back. But there was such mayhem immediately following that the incident has passed by. What a start here. Less than 6 minutes on the clock. Sweden have already had a couple of chances to score. Mexico have already had a player yellow carded.
Well, I was looking at the lineup of Mexico when I was listening to the national anthem, and they were all smiling. They need to get that smile off their faces, because this is going to be a tough afternoon for them.
Yeah, they've beaten Germany and South Korea, but still not certain of qualifying from Group F. So they really need to go all out to win this final game against Sweden. A long ball played into the Swedish half, and a no-nonsense clearance will give Mexico a throw-in halfway inside opposition territory. Coaches both pacing up and down on the touchline as the ball comes back to Guardado, the captain, and now to Hector Moreno, the central defender for Mexico, who has to play it back into his own half to Carlos Salcedo, who was at right back against Germany, centre back against South Korea, and again today in the middle of Mexico's back four. So they build on the halfway line. The ball over on the far side of the field, that's the Mexican right flank. And again has to go back into their own half. More cultured, more careful, methodical build-up. Moreno has the ball on the halfway line for Mexico, plays it forward. It's not a bad ball either for Lozano. Lozano is brought down. The man who scored that wonderful winner against Germany wins a free kick for Mexico here. 7 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Mexico 0, Sweden 0. Moreno in possession from the free kick for the green-shirted Mexicans. Tries to play it out to the right-hand side. Could have been a handball there, but the referee has allowed play to go on, with Mexico looking to be in possession. But Gallardo couldn't reach the ball. It has, however, been cleared by Lustig for a Mexican throw near the Swedish corner flag, taken by Gallardo. And Sweden again, they don't mess about when the ball's there to be cleared. They just thump it away from danger.
Well, it's a frantic start by both teams. I think certainly Mexico were a bit shaken by the start of Sweden. I think certainly the heart of their defence, Moreno and Saldo, have got to be strong. They've got to match everything that Sweden do.
Sweden have just nicked the ball back in the middle third of the field. And now they begin to build with Marcus Berg, but a poor ball by him. Top scorer in the qualifiers with 8 goals. He also scored 36 for his club side in the United Arab Emirates League. We're having another look now on the TV replay of the save from that free kick, and a definite push in the back for me on Andreas Granqvist.
Yeah, a definite push. We've seen so many decisions being given on set pieces.
But here come Mexico with Lozano on the edge of the Swedish penalty area. Pulls the ball back invitingly for Gallardo, the left back. He knocks it on further still. And they've really lost the impetus of that attack. Herrera keeping possession and finding Lozano. Lozano back in field to Herrera. Herrera's beaten in the tackle. Frantic start, as you say. 9 minutes on the clock, and so much has happened already. Mexico in possession, midway inside the half. Herrera tries a long-range shot, a rather weak one, which drifts past the post, and that's no problem for the Swedish goalkeeper Robin Olsen, who's played every minute for them so far with all the qualifiers and these finals.
I'm just looking at Lozano on the left, well, you can say wing of Mexico. Looks a real live wire. You know, played like football in Dutch football this year, and really does look like every time he's going to take somebody on.
Mexico have possession again with Hector Herrera. Now they play a long ball into the Swedish penalty area. On the first bounce, it's gone into the hands of Olsen. He plays for FC Copenhagen in the Danish league. Pulls the ball out, and Sweden win a free kick midway inside their own half. The referee's been very strict early on here, and that foul on Albin Ekdal has earned a free kick for the Swedes.
Herrera just comes in, and Herrera's challenged with his elbow as well, and he's holding his head, as you said, Ekdal. There's going to be nothing given in this game. That's quite clear. We're 10 minutes through, and it's been absolutely frantic at the start of this match. And I'm looking at Sweden, I keep thinking every time they're going to win most of the aerial battles. It's the keeper knocking it from midway in his own half, direct, straight forward.
Free kick taken by Olsen, lands 10 yards outside the Mexican penalty area. In goes left back Gallardo, but he's been beaten to the ball and has had to concede a corner here, corner to Sweden, with just over 10 minutes on the clock.
Well, good luck on these set pieces, because Mexico are losing every ball. Another corner to Sweden. I'm sure Granqvist will come up, Linderoth. With that, Toivonen and Berg, they've got a real threat from set pieces, and we've seen in this tournament already how effective that can be.
Yeah, big, powerful side, the yellow-jerseyed Swedes. Granqvist in particular being very closely marked in the centre by Carlos Salcedo. The referee's seen him using his hands. He's had to put them behind his back so he doesn't hold on to Granqvist. And the corner will come in from left back Augustinsson, and it's a good one deep inside the area, and a chance for Sweden. An overhead kick on the far post, which has gone just wide of target from Marcus Berg.
Wow, again Sweden win the ball, got a far post corner. Granqvist wins it, knocks it back, and he tries an overhead kick, doesn't he? Marcus Berg just hits it wide of the post, but again the header was won. I think it's going to be a long afternoon for Mexico dealing with set pieces. They must keep themselves in this game and avoid playing direct as well, because they've got to get the ball on the ground and play. I don't think they're going to win any aerial duels in this match, in any of the midfield, defensively. They're going to have to get it on the ground.
Sweden have it on the ground now, 15 yards inside the Mexican half, but they have lost possession. And it's Mexico who begin to build inside the centre circle. And they've got enough men forward here to cause a problem to Sweden. One of them is left back Gallardo, who just swiftly moves it infield again to Guardado, the skipper. Now it's played out to the left flank to Lozano, who's found himself in an offside position. So a free kick to Sweden.
Yeah, he's got to look along the line there, Lozano. He's in a great position, he's just walking, he gets clipped to him in the left wing position. He's probably straight a yard offside. No need, he had a bit of space, he could have just dropped back in.
You're listening to the World Cup live on TalkSport 2, your home of exclusive Premier League and English Football League commentaries. And don't forget, we bring you all the cricket action from the England tours of the West Indies and Sri Lanka this winter. Tomorrow morning from 10 a.m, Ray Stubbs on Football First. He and Adrian Clark will be discussing all the top football stories, including another big day in the World Cup as Sweden clear their lines just outside their penalty area, thanks to the Celtic right back, Mikael Lustig. He's been in the Scottish Premier League now for the last half a dozen seasons, where he has won the title every time, of course. From the throw-in, the green-shirted Mexicans begin to build out on the far side of the field. That is the Mexican right. Alvarez, the right back, on the halfway line. Alternate right back against South Korea. When Salcedo was moved to the centre of defence, he has possession again. He's only 20, plays in the Mexican League, but he was sent off 2 or 3 times last season. A bit of a hot head, but it's his opposite number, if you like, Jesus Gallardo, who picked up that early yellow card from Mexico. The ball up on the halfway line. Lustig wins it back well for Sweden, who attack again down the Swedish right with Victor Claesson finding Marcus Berg. Marcus Berg in field. Claesson was in a great position there, and then a really hurried shot coming in from Emil Forsberg, way over the crossbar. Goal kick to Mexico.
Again, Sweden being quite direct. As soon as he's there to be hit, okay, skies it well over the bar there for Forsberg. But they won't mess around with the ball in any position. If their fullbacks have it, they're going to hit it long, and their centre-halves likewise, goalkeeper. So you've got to be able to handle it, and so far Mexico are not.
But they have possession on the halfway line, and that's a good early ball played forward. And then a very disappointing effort by Javier Hernandez, who slaps his own head in disgust with himself. Mexico's all-time leading scorer got this one all wrong. Goal kick.
He can get a goal, Hernandez. Every time I've watched him over the years, wherever he's been, he always gets chances in the game. Not the quickest, not the biggest, but he always finds himself positions. He's got to be, the experience he's got for Mexico tonight is going to be valid. I think it's very important they just keep themselves in this game, because chances will come for them, because Sweden's style is very, very draining. You know, being direct and knocking it long and chasing and hustling players, it can be draining on the team.
Lindelof has the ball for Sweden, plays it forward, misplaced pass has given possession back to Mexico. Gallardo knocks it long into the Swedish half. It's kept in play, and Seb Larsson knocks it down the right touchline, where it's gone out of play for a throw into Mexico midway inside their own half.
Yeah, Mexico dominating possession. The shots are certainly the advantage, 3-1 to Sweden. It's important they keep the ball as much as they can on the ground.
Brilliant run here for Mexico to set up a counter-attack. Brilliant run, and then a terrible ball given away where it looked easier to keep possession. So Sweden have it back, but they've made a mistake, and a chance now as it's played to the right by Lozano. Oh, and then the left foot shot wide of target. So both teams have had superb opportunities to score here, and they've both thrown them away.
Well, Carlos Vela, and they capitalise on a mistake by Sweden, get the ball, and they move it really quickly. Mexico, good one-touch football. Carlos Vela takes it on his left foot, knocks it back, and he just tries to bend it around the advancing Granquist, and it's just wide of the post. But a great opportunity for Carlos Vela.
That miss there by the former Arsenal man who scored their penalty against South Korea earlier on in the competition. Sweden have possession now, deep inside the Mexican half, and that's a dangerous ball played into the box, which Mexico cleared at the expense of a throw-in. It was their skipper who came across, Guardado, and knocked it out of play. Lustig will take the throw, level with the 18-yard line of the Mexican penalty area. Hoping for a bit more movement from his teammates here before he delivers this throw, which he finally does and gets it back himself. Plays it to Larsson. Seb Larsson's cross looks good up towards the penalty spot. Well cleared though by Salcedo. He comes back, however, to Lustig, the right back, and he knocks a dangerous cross in as well. And there's another opportunity that's gone missing, this time from Forsberg, who blazes it over the bar.
Well, how we've gone 17 minutes without a goal in this game, I do not know. But again, it's a very direct ball in at the far post. Forsberg comes off the left side, comes into the central position. It bounces just in front of him. He can't keep it down, but a glorious opportunity for Sweden to take the lead.
Well, I don't know what's going on in the other game in Kazan, but it can't be any more eventful than here. Still 0-0 between South Korea and Germany as far as we know. So many different permutations in this group. The simple outcome would be wins for Mexico and Germany. If that happened, Mexico would top the group and Germany would be runners-up. Any other set of results, and well, good luck in trying to work it out. Good luck to us, we'll need it. But certainly this was a wonderful opportunity for Sweden to score, and a really poor effort by Forsberg. There are rumours that Arsenal have made a big bid for him. He scored 4 goals for Sweden in the qualifiers, in which he wasn't ever present. Plays in the German Bundesliga at the moment for RB Leipzig. And he had those Swedish fans behind the goal with their arms in the air. They had to withdraw them quickly when the ball ended up over the crossbar.
Well, he just looks like he loves to come off that left side and become a centre forward, and just drifts into positions that fullbacks get concerned about going into, which is a great habit. It was a great chance he didn't convert it, but you can see why he makes the goals and also can score them.
Foul on the halfway line by the Swedish skipper Andreas Granquist on Javier Hernandez, and that'll be a free kick to Mexico. Granquist, who scored the penalty winner against South Korea, 33 now, had a spell in the English Premier League with Wigan Athletic a few years ago. He now plays in Russia, in fact, for Krasnodar. Mexico from the free kick play the ball back into their own half. It's with Hector Moreno, their central defender, and the ball played out to the right. There's been a goal, I understand, in the other game in Kazan between Germany and South Korea. So let's get the latest now from Gary Taphouse. Well, we're not quite ready to join Gary. We'll come to him in a moment as the Mexicans switch play from right to left, picked up by Hervin Lozano, edge of the penalty area, and he lays it off cleverly, Played back in by Herrera, bounces away, and Sweden can have a counter-attack of their own here through Marcus Berg, who's being held, pulled back by Alvarez, the 20-year-old, and that will be a free kick to Sweden. They had to rebuild their side, Sweden, after so many of their best players retired following a disappointing European Championship a couple of years ago. The under-21s won their equivalent of the European Championships, and many of them are in this squad. They're hoping for a new era of players to emerge. But they're also hoping that this squad can make further progress in this competition. At the moment they're defending Sweden, but they've won the ball back midway inside their own half with Albin Ekdal, who plays it forward to Forsberg. The blonde-haired Forsberg has given it away. He's made a poor start to this game, Forsberg, although it was his free kick that was knocked from under his own crossbar by Ochoa, the Mexican goalkeeper. Mexico had the ball with Vela on the far side of the field. Played short in field to Herrera, back out to that right-hand side again. Leon also involved in this Mexican attack. They've got a lot of players forward, and when the cross comes in, it's headed behind, and that'll be a corner to Mexico. 21 minutes gone here on TalkSport 2. Mexico 0, Sweden 0.
Again, Carlos Vela whips it in with his left foot, and Granquist just manages to get a slice of touches, gives away a corner. It's a really tough game to call because you can see the qualities of Mexico when they move the ball around, and then obviously the direct style, which I've talked about so often this afternoon, is very effective for Sweden. They have to try and handle now a Mexico set piece.
Yeah, I'm not sure there has been a goal incidentally in that other game. That might be one of those rumours that spreads on days like this. Short corner, clipped into the middle, and an opportunity. But Sweden clear their lines. The ball is with Herrera, edge of the Swedish penalty area. He's done well here, tricks his way inside the defender and tried to clip it across the penalty area. Rebounds away, and that'll be a throw-in to Mexico, who've recovered well from a very sloppy start.
Yes, they have, and you're just seeing the quality sometimes when the ball, you're looking, Lozano, Herrera, Vela.
Here they come again, Mexico, camped out now, midway inside the Swedish half, and a long-range effort there, a poor effort, frankly, by their skipper, Andres Guardado, playing in his fourth finals in the World Cup. He's still only 31, relatively young.
Yeah, on his left foot, Guardado, he just can't keep it up on target, quite a long way off. He cuts in on his left foot, but they've got quality, you can see it. They can really play when they want to, Mexico.
0-0, 23 minutes on the clock. A group that is still wide open. Any one of the four teams involved in Group F can still qualify for the knockout round. Huge goal kick from Robin Olsen of Sweden. He was knocked out of play on the halfway line, so that'll be a throw-in to the Swedes, who've long been regarded as the best of all the Scandinavian football nations, even though, as I said, they had a disappointing European Championships a couple of years ago. 12th appearance in the finals, but their first for 12 years. They didn't make it in 2010 or 2014. They could make it to the round of 16 in 2018. But at the moment, it's Mexico dominating possession. They have the ball on the far side of the field with Alvarez down the right flank. Gets it back, the right back, plays it forward into the inside right channel, and Leon unable to find Hernandez effectively. It's gone out of play for a throw-in to Sweden. Their fans anxiously awaiting news, I'm sure, from that other game in Kazan. Well, I think it is still goalless as we come up to the 25-minute mark here. The ball is just inside the Mexican half. It's gone out of play for a throw-in to Sweden. It will be taken on that far side by Augustinsson, who plays in Germany for Werder Bremen, the left back. Finds Seb Larsson, very tight down that left touchline for Sweden. Can they find a bit of room out in the corner now? They have. And they've kept the possession well, and a good ball into the middle. Goalkeeper took that well under pressure from Toivonen, very well. And immediately bashes it downfield, where it's dealt with easily by the Swedish back four. Mexico try to win the ball just inside the Swedish half. Larsson went in with his foot high and earns a yellow card. and a ticking off from a very stern Argentine referee.
It's very difficult, especially the way Sweden want to play. They're going to have a lot of duels. The referee was immediately got his whistle, blown for a foul. Every time Mexico keeper gets the ball and hits it long, normally Sweden or the Swedish players are winning the ball, nodding it back. It is a high challenge by Larsson, and it certainly is a foul. Lozano.
Booked in the opening game as well, Larsson. This has given Mexico a free kick, so that could be problems for him if they make further progress. The ball is with Mexico on the halfway line. And they have possession with Alvarez. He has to go all the way back to the midway point of his own half, to Salcedo, who finds Moreno, the other centre-back. The number 15 clips it down the left touchline, intending to find Lozano, the 19-year-old. He can't reach it in time. It's gone straight through to goalkeeper Olsen, who comes to the edge of the Swedish penalty area and kicks it right-footed deep inside the Mexican half. So deep it's gone through on the second bounce to his opposite number, Guillermo Ochoa, the Mexican goalkeeper, number 1 in the Standard Liège team in the Belgian league. Made his debut for Mexico all of 13 years ago now. His kick downfield is collected by Granqvist, the Swedish captain. Left-footed, plays it forward. It's a decent ball as well, and it enables Sweden to keep possession just inside the Mexican half. But now they've had to go back to Granqvist inside their own half. The skipper's got to be careful not to lose possession here, but he's picked out a good ball, in fact, for Forsberg. And the challenge on Forsberg after he played the ball away has led to a free kick for Sweden. It might have been on Toivonen, but it's a free kick anyway.
They've got to be careful, Mexico, giving away too many free kicks. Certainly in areas where they can deliver the ball into the 18-yard box of Mexico. Ochoa is going to be called upon so often to come off his line. He's not the biggest.
He's done pretty well so far. He did well to keep that early free kick out. But now he faces another set piece with coming up to 28 minutes on the clock. Sweden and Mexico goalless at the moment in the Ekaterinburg. Free kick to Sweden inside the centre circle, inside the Mexican half. Delivered right-footed into the crowd of players, knocked back into a central position. There was a big claim for a handball there. The referee says play on. Forsberg hits it and it's deflected behind. The goalkeeper tried to prevent the corner but failed to do so. Big handball, big penalty shout.
Yeah, it was immediately the Swedish players all waved on their arms. I think it was been very unfortunate. It was Hernandez. He hits his stomach and then rolls onto his arm. And a referee immediately, although he's blocked by the view, I still don't see it as a deliberate handball.
Certainly stretched an arm out. Yeah. Dangerous thing to do. And they're absolutely furious on the Swedish bench. Jana Andersson out claiming it was a definite handball. No recourse to VAR at the moment, but wait a minute, because the referee is saying don't take the corner kick yet. He's obviously getting information in his earpiece from the VAR officials, and I think he might be checking this one out. Yes, he's going to. Heart in the mouth time for Javier Hernandez, the former Manchester United striker, as the Argentine referee makes his way to the touchline to check the monitor. Is he going to give a penalty here?
No, I think he's going to deem it accidental, because I think it's very hard to say that Hernandez, because it does hit his stomach and then sort of rolls onto his arm. I don't think it's deliberate. I think it'd be very harsh to give a pen here.
He's having a long look at it. Referee Pitana. He's speaking to the VAR officials. If he's seeing the pictures we're seeing, as Tony has mentioned, the ball did bounce up and hit his arm, but did he then move his right arm towards the ball and make deliberate contact? It's a really tough one to sort out that for the officials. Here comes the referee now. No, he's gone back for one further look. He steps back onto the pitch. He'll indicate the TV monitor signal, and he's given the penalty.
No, I think is he going for the corner? I think he's going for the corner.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he signalled corner.
Yeah, he pointed as though it was a penalty and confused everybody, including me.
And the manager of Sweden.
And the manager, he thought it was going to be a penalty. Wow, what a left-off, though, for Mexico and Hernandez. And the coach of Sweden is still arguing furiously with the fourth official. And it all ends up with a corner kick. Not a penalty kick to Sweden on the half-hour mark here on TalkSport 2. Now the referee's occupying his thoughts about all the pushing and shoving going on as the ball comes in towards the near post. Granquist tried to get a header on it. Mexico tries to clear. Oh, it's a wonderful save by Ochoa. Once again, Sweden so close to taking the lead here. Berg from, well, point-blank range they used to call this.
I'll be amazed if Mexico could survive. I think he's going to have to be a hero tonight, Ochoa, because he's going to be called on so often. He tips it over the bar. Again, a set piece. They're so dangerous, Sweden, winning every header. Ochoa's the man who's going to have to keep them in this game.
Marcus Berg was no more than 4 or 5 yards from the goal line, poked the ball forward, and Ochoa, I suppose, is what they call a good height for a goalkeeper, but he had to react quickly and did to knock it over. Corner comes in from the Swedish right. It's a poor one. It's going to go out of play all the way over on the far side of the field. The Swedish fans still angry. They thought the referee had given a penalty. They were wrong.
I think it comes down to, you have to deem it whether it was deliberate, and I certainly didn't think it was. I'm seeing a replay now, and yes, it does hit the arm, but it's the stomach of Hernandez first, and then slightly rolls onto his arm. It's not his hand, it's his arm, and I think there's no option. I think he's called it right here. I think that certainly Yanni Anderson will feel like he's been, obviously he feels a bit aggrieved. Personally, I think it's the right call. I think the bigger picture, Alan, is how are Mexico going to deal with the next hour of these type of balls being delivered into their box?
Well, both teams have had scoring opportunities in this first 32 minutes, but Sweden have had the majority of them and certainly the better chances, and it's remarkable that it's still 0-0 here. Sweden have conceded a free kick halfway inside the Mexican half. Mexico came here expecting to qualify for the round of 16. They've done so in each of the last 7 World Cup finals they've taken part in, including 4 years ago in Brazil. And it looks as though they're going to, with 6 points, remember, 6 points out of 6. But this is a group that is going to take a lot of twists and turns throughout the course of this match and the game between South Korea and Germany and Kazan. Sweden win the ball back inside their own half, played forward to Berg, who probably should have scored moments ago, down the right touchline to Klaassen, edge of the box, and it's a lovely ball to pick out Forsberg, but his attempted volley way too high. Goal kick.
Yeah, as he gets delivered across the face. Well, it's a far ball area, far post, and Forsberg comes onto it. He wants it on his left foot, but it's a little bit behind him, and he tries to come over the top and hit with his right, and it's woefully over the top of the goal. Probably 30 yards high.
So it remains goalless here in Ekaterinburg in this 35,000 capacity arena, redeveloped a few years ago for these World Cup finals. A warm, sunny day as the Swedish defence try to deal with this latest goal kick from Ochoa from Mexico, and they've dealt with it pretty well, all the way back to their own goalkeeper Olsen, who hits it right-footed. He certainly gets a lot of distance on his clearances, Olsen. This has reached 10 yards into the Mexican half, where Mexico left back Gallardo, one of 2 players portioned already. The other one is Seb Larsson of Sweden, just knocks it back to his goalkeeper Ochoa. Ochoa, clearly not the superstitious kind, wearing number 13 on his all-red kit, hits it up to the halfway line, where Mexico will win a throw-in.
I think the intriguing scenario for me is that can Sweden keep this tempo up, because it's been fast and in their face of the Mexican players. A lot of set-piece deliveries.
Moreno has the ball from Mexico, midway inside his own half. Remember, a draw is enough for Mexico. They don't, in that sense, have to force it. but they've looked so vulnerable defensively in this opening 35 minutes that if they were to go a goal down, then anything could happen in this group, literally. Remember, even South Korea, bottom of the table, no points, could conceivably, with a particular set of circumstances, go through to the round of 16. So you can't take any chances. They've got to keep going strong here, Mexico, and they've done that. They've won the ball back brilliantly on the halfway line. Now Lozano has the ball, gets it on his right foot, clips it forward, straight against the Swedish defender. Out of play it goes, throw into Mexico, halfway inside Sweden's half.
Well, Lozano, you don't know what way he's going to go, but one thing you do know, he's dangerous. I think he's the one player that can cause Sweden a lot of trouble. He comes inside, he'll go on the outside on his left foot, does it really well.
Mexico have the ball just inside the Swedish half with Leung laying it off to that far side. They build slowly, but now they switch the play from right to left. And I don't think he managed to keep that in. Lozano, no he didn't. It's gone out for a throw into Sweden.
He looks about 14, doesn't he, Lozano? He looks like a real young lad. I know he is a young man in football terms.
Top scorer for them in the qualifiers with 4 goals. And pretty interesting disciplinary record, incidentally. Apparently he's been sent off 7 times in his career already. That takes some doing at his age. Augustinsson keeps the ball in play for Sweden, just inside the Mexican half, and they build again down their left-hand side here, Sweden. Now they're just outside the penalty area. Forsberg is in possession for the Swedes. Flicks one through. It was meant, I think, for Victor Claesson, but straight into the hands of goalkeeper Ochoa.
See, I think it's quite simple for Sweden. Just get the ball out wide and get their fullbacks or a midfielder to deliver as much as they can. And try and get Toivonen and Berg in areas to win the ball and get a midfielder run onto and get into that 18-yard box, because they're at 6s and 7s, Mexico, when the ball's being delivered in.
Mexico have possession though, halfway inside the Swedish half on their right flank. The ball is with Hector Herrera, gets it back again and plays it infield to Carlos Vela. Vela with a good ball and a chance here now, edge of the box. Well, he's had to turn away Hernandez, but he's managed to keep possession for his team, and they overplayed there, Mexico. Swedish defence, in the sense of Forsberg this time, deals with the threat, knocks it out for a throw-in to Mexico about 10 yards from Sweden's corner flagger.
Yeah, you're right, they did overplay. I think Hernandez had the opportunity just to feed the ball out to the left to Lozano. Instead he opted to come back inside.
From a poor throw there by Mexico, Sweden have regained possession with Berg. He's tight on the left touchline, but plays a clever ball infield to Forsberg, who's made a lot of ground here. Great run by Forsberg, still going halfway inside the half, and picks out Lustig, the right back, who had to slide in to try and control it, and lost the challenge against his opponent. Guardado has possession now for Mexico, approaching the halfway line. We've had 38 minutes gone. In the Katerinburg, it is Mexico 0, Sweden 0.
Yeah, well, Guardado there, he saved his team because Lustig made a great run down the right side. Guardado managed to make a great interception.
But back come Mexico. They're already inside the Swedish penalty area with Vela. His shot, left-footed. The second time he's done that in the game, and the second time he's blazed it wide.
Just couldn't keep it on target, but great play, switches it from the right foot to his left foot, hits it, strikes it with loads of venom, but just can't keep it down.
Don't forget, for your essential roundup of Thursday morning's top sports stories, join World Cup Sports Day from 7 in the morning. Russell Hargreaves and Lisa O'Sullivan look ahead to England's Group G decided against Belgium, and preview the other 3 World Cup commentaries across the TalkSport network ahead of the knockout stage. 0-0 here between Mexico and Sweden. 0-0 as far as we know between South Korea and Germany, and we're coming up to 6 minutes of the first half remaining in Ekaterinburg. A draw will be enough for the green-shirted Mexicans are on the attack again here, halfway inside the Swedish half. The ball is with Herrera, plays it out to that right flank and looks to get it back just on the edge of Sweden's penalty box. Granqvist, the skipper, had to step across and make the challenge, and the ball came off him. So it's going to be a corner late in this half to Mexico. They've taken it short, taken it quickly. They've got men forward, including Moreno, the big central defender. Salcedo, the other defender, has a wild swing at the ball, edge of the penalty area, then comes in to win it back with a header. And finally, a strange clearance there by Toivonen, back helping his defence. And it's gone out for a throw-in. Again, Mexico don't dilly or dally over these set pieces. They've got on with it. And the ball is with Gallardo, their left back, 10 yards inside Swedish territory. Plays it short to Lozano. And he hits it up to the halfway line. Salcedo now back in his central defensive position, finding Alvarez down the right touchline by him. Not the best ball. 5 minutes of the half remaining. It's still goalless in Ekaterinburg. Mexico, green shirts, white shorts, red stockings, have possession just inside the centre circle. Now moving into the opposition half. Guardado, the captain, tried to play it out to the right. It's deflected away, and Victor Lindelof gets it clear, but back come Mexico again with Gallardo. And he gets the return ball from Vela, left edge of the penalty area. It's a great cross into the 6-yard box, missed by everyone. Layun will keep it in play on the far side, but in fact the whistle is gone there from the referee. Granqvist, the Swedish skipper, is down injured, and I think he's decided it was a foul by Lozano, who was sliding in, trying to make contact with the cross.
Yeah, it was great play. It's whipped in on the left side. Granqvist and certainly Lozano clash. Granqvist comes off slightly worse. It was a great delivery into a very dangerous area.
41 minutes, Mexico 0, Sweden 0. Sweden have had the better opportunities. There was a little incident in the goal mouth during that little bit of a scramble where Olsen, the goalkeeper, certainly pushed the Mexican striker, and that's a very dangerous thing to do with VAR monitoring everything.
This game is...
Well, it's getting very tetchy and it's getting very scrappy, but Sweden won themselves a free kick inside the centre circle in the Mexican half.
Well, you would never question these two, both sides' commitment to this game. They've been at each other from start of this match. Every tackle has been challenged, and you can see the two managers on the sidelines have been caught up in the ferocious game style. Hey, there's been a few tough challenges, but generally this game's been an honest test of each other's character.
And Sweden have another set piece with which to try and test the Mexican back four. Toivonen and Berg, the twin strikers, are together waiting for this delivery, which comes in now from Lindelof. The Manchester United man is a good ball up to the far post, headed clear by Moreno, but they'll pick up the second ball here with Larsson, Sweden, and he hits it first time back in, and in fact out for a goal kick to Mexico. Not long of a half remaining. What have you made of it?
Well, I've made of it that it's been exactly what I thought it would be. I thought it would be tough for Mexico, certainly handling what Sweden have to offer. Mexico have got to keep it as tight as they can, because I do feel that Sweden will find it very tough to keep up this incredible pace of the game. The goalkeeper, Ajaya, has been superb, made a couple of really decent saves, but Mexico are doing what they need to do. The draw is putting them in a great position, because there'll be a time when Sweden overcommit, and they might. I think they're a better counter-attack style will pay dividends for them if they can just hang into this game.
Fascinating match though. We've got about 90 seconds of the half remaining. There haven't been that many stoppages. There was the longest, of course, was for the Argentine referee to check with the VAR officials and the pitchside monitor about a possible handball by Hernandez and a potential penalty for Sweden, which was not given. And that's the big talking point of the half. Mexico, deep inside their own half, have possession. Alvarez in the right back position. He slides it carefully forward, and it's knocked all the way back to goalkeeper Ochoa, who now gets distance on his clearance. It lands 10 yards inside the Swedish half, where it's cleared by their right back Lustig. Gallardo plays it forward to Lozano on the halfway line for Mexico. He can't keep possession for long. It's all a bit untidy in there. But eventually, Mexico come out with the ball. Hernandez. First time ball by the former Manchester United man. Out to Leon on Mexico's right. He's made ground, edge of the penalty area. Tries a shot himself. And at the second attempt, Olsen saves it.
Well, again, it's a great play. So this time it's Mexico's turn. Couldn't quite get the final effort of any venom on the shot. It's quite comfortable for Olsen.
Well, it's a wonderfully competitive and open game, this. Neither side resting on their laurels, even though Mexico, remember, as Tony has just mentioned, a draw will be enough for them to not just make further progress, but also to win the group. Who they're playing the next round is anyone's guess. Brazil, Switzerland or Serbia, all potentially lying in wait. But that's something to consider much later. They've got to clinch their place first. They're in stoppage time at the end of the first half. 2 minutes of it. Sweden have possession inside their own half. It's a poor clearance, and Mexico pick up the loose ball with Carlos Vela, the former Arsenal man, just outside Sweden's penalty area. Pulls up and then plays it infield to Herrera. Herrera, a good ball to the edge of the box. It's a lovely move this, but the final pass not the best, and out comes Olsen, the Swedish goalkeeper, to collect.
Yeah, it's so tough for Mexico because the Swedish back four won't leave their positions. They've got protection in front of them, but no one's going to leave a space in behind. Certainly the fullbacks are not going to do that.
Huge kick by the Swedish keeper, lands on the very edge of Mexico's penalty area. Gallardo at the second attempt manages to get it clear and find Herrera, and Herrera plays a first-time ball to Javier Hernandez, Chicharito as he's known, who plays it out to the Mexican right. Now it comes back in field to Herrera. Herrera with a good ball for Lozano inside the Swedish penalty area. The overlapping Vela crosses, and it's knocked behind just for the throw. Just avoided the corner there, Sweden.
Well, great interchange play by Vela. Certainly Hernandez and Lozano.
They've taken that throw already. Lozano with a poor ball has given it away. Berg for Sweden inside his own half. As the clock ticks on, there's about 30 seconds remaining as Forsberg comes forward and finds Berg, and he's now got himself inside the Mexican penalty area and hits the ball into the side netting.
Oh, what a waste. What a great piece of football. Forsberg done brilliantly in the central midfield position. He sends Berg away down the left, but if he just looked inside, it certainly had Lucas Tinson running there. He could have just squared the ball back. He opted for a left foot effort, and it's into the side netting. Probably the wrong choice. I think he's got to go across the goal if anything, if he's going to shoot.
Well, are Sweden going to live to regret all the missed opportunities they've had in this first half, which has just been brought to an end by the Argentine referee? Certainly, Ochoa in Mexico's goal was the busier of the two goalkeepers, making one or two fine saves. There was a scary moment for Mexico, though, when it looked as though the referee might award a penalty against Javier Hernandez for a handball inside his own penalty box, but after consulting VAR and the pitchside monitor, he gave Sweden only a corner, not the penalty that we're all claiming. Sweden have been on top in terms of goal-scoring opportunities, but they haven't managed to take any of them. So at half-time in Ekaterinburg, it's Mexico 0, Sweden 0. Well, Sweden really have to go for broke now in this second half. Otherwise, as things stand, they'll be packing their bags and going home. 0-0 here at half-time, 0-0 between South Korea and Germany, and if the scores stay that way, then Mexico will qualify for the round of 16 as winners of Group F, and Germany will be runners-up. But there are all manner of different permutations if we were to get goals here in Ekaterinburg or in Kazan in that other game. Mexico get the second half underway. Green shirts, white shorts, red stockings. Sweden in their familiar yellow jerseys and blue shorts. The ball is back with the Cho, who made a couple of excellent saves for Mexico in the first half. His clearance is headed away by Victor Lindelof to set Sweden on the attack for the first time in this second half. Berg, who had one great opportunity late on in the first half, can't keep possession for long. Leon has it back for Mexico on the right touchline. Now tips it forward. An easy interception for Sweden, Granqvist, the skipper, who scored in possession there, but still manages to get his foot through the ball. And Sweden have gained themselves a free kick about 20 yards inside the Mexican half in the centre forward position.
Yeah, Hector Morena commits a foul. I think it's on Marcus Berg, who's gone down and again in a very, very dangerous position.
As things stand, Mexico 7 points in Group F, Germany 4, Sweden 4, but of course Germany beat Sweden, so that's a key factor in the various equations. And South Korea remain bottom with no points, but could still incredibly qualify if everything was to change in the second half of these two games. But at the moment, Sweden take this free kick, driven towards the far post, and driven is the opposite word. It was much too hard, straight out for a goal kick.
You know, I'm not sure why it's a driven ball, because they've won so many aerial battles that you just think hang it up and someone will get the head down, knock it down into a dangerous position. They don't need to do the missile type of free kick.
Juan Carlos Osorio, the Mexican coach, who's actually Colombian by birth, has been in charge for 3 years. Apparently he's offered a new contract, but he's turned it down. He believes he's going to be in demand because of the fine job he's done. And that kind of arrogance, coupled with his constant tinkering with the team, has led to him, I believe, being very unpopular amongst Mexican fans. A man who spent some time earlier in his career in England on the coaching staff of Manchester City.
Well, his team remind me of the Republic of Ireland team that I played in 1990. Their style is very, very similar. Really hard working, quite direct, balls in from everywhere, from central, diagonal.
Sweden win it back in the middle third of the field. Good play by Ekdal, the Hamburg midfielder. Has to go back into his own half to keep possession, and then Leon intercepts as he laid it out to the left, and suddenly Hernandez speeds forward for Mexico. They attack with real pace. Leon has the ball, the number 7, just outside the penalty area, finding Lozano. Lozano takes on the defender. His cross was a bit flat and easily cleared by Sweden. It's been that kind of game. Mexico have arguably played the better football, but Sweden the more effective football. Mexico in possession, midway inside the half. The ball is with left back Gallardo. His cross is cut out before it reaches the 6-yard box, and that's going to be a corner kick to Mexico.
Yeah, Gallardo whips in with his left foot, and I think from the umpteenth time today, Granqvist makes the challenge, slides across, gets the ball and knocks out the play for a corner.
So Gallardo's got something to tell the grandkids. What did you do in the war, Grandad? I made World Cup history. I was booked after 15 seconds. Short corner taken by Mexico. Now it's clipped in towards Hernandez in the 6-yard box, headed clear, but not safely by Sweden, because they picked up the loose ball. Salcedo plays it back into the middle. Sweden again headed clear, but once more the second ball is picked up by Mexico on the left. They clip the ball again into the penalty area. It was a shout for a handball this time by Mexico, but it didn't look anything like convincing call.
No, I think it's hit him in the face there. I think it's Linderoff. I think it clapped him in the face. I think referee again, he's in a great position. Good call.
Mexico did well to win it back after a clumsy ball in midfield, but now they've lost possession, and Sweden, through their right back Lustig, sweep it forward to Forsberg. The blonde-haired left midfielder has played towards the edge of the penalty area, but they can't keep possession for long. Now they've run it back again, and Larsson has the ball just outside the box. Larsson plays it to his right. They've got 3 in the middle here. Is another opportunity. It's a goal. Sweden have taken the lead. The breakthrough at last in the first 5 minutes of the second half.
Well, I've got to say, Ulf Christensen, it ventured forward very rarely in this particular game, but he goes forward in this attack and he finds himself a bit like Rojo did for Argentina. He gets in a forward position and the ball eventually, after a deflection, comes to him. He dispatches it brilliantly, but Sweden for the first time got their ball back. Ulf Christensen forward, bit of a miss hit, well certainly a big miss hit, but a good finish. See the miss hit by Clarkson, comes to him, he completely mishits it, but Ulf Christensen, who's gone up from the left back position, has found himself at the far post and hits it home with his left foot past the keeper, way up.
Well, that really has put the cat amongst the pigeons now in Group F. Sweden in front. Remember, Mexico cannot guarantee going through to the round of 16 if they were to lose this. They need a draw at least, a win preferably, a win or a draw would make them group leaders. But now they're a goal behind, and that has given us an entirely different scenario.
Yeah, I think the big call for them is obviously at half-time. I'm sure the manager was encouraging Augustinson to get forward, because there's certain times when you have to take a risk, and that was the one thing I thought would happen in the second half. Could Mexico have exposed that? Well, they haven't had time. They've gone 1-0 behind. It's going to be a tough nut to crack, this Swedish team. Their back four will stay flat now. They won't push their full-backs forward. So Mexico will have to make up a magical moment, a piece of individual brilliance.
And Sweden have won it back again with Forsberg just outside the penalty area. He plays it to Toivonen, and Toivonen back into him, and he's clipped it over the bar. It's not the first miss by Emil Forsberg in this game. It's probably about the third.
Well, this was a golden opportunity as Emil Forsberg gets the ball. He sends it out wide, and Toivonen puts it back in, and Forsberg can't make the best of an opportunity on his left foot and skies it about 3 yards over the bar. But they were 3 against 2 in that particular situation.
Well, 7 minutes ago, Sweden were facing elimination. Now they've actually gone top of the group. That's how crazy Group F is. But we've only had 52 minutes. So much more to unfold here. Now it's Mexico who have the problem, not Sweden.
I think there'll be a change by Mexico very soon, because I can't see them breaking down this Swedish back four with just having Hernandez down the middle on his own.
They're still second in the group, of course, Mexico, but that's at the moment. If Germany score, everything could change. They go forward with Vela. Vela plays it to his left, to Hernandez, who tries a shot from a very difficult angle there. It wasn't Hernandez, in fact, it was Guardado. Very difficult angle, and it inevitably went straight across and out of play.
Yeah, well, it looks like Guardado wants to cross the ball here, and he just slightly mishits it. He could have ventured into the top corner. Fortunately for Sweden, their fans are absolutely these fans of this World Cup have been superb. The Swedish fans, you can hear them, and they're absolutely enthusiastic about their team's performance today. I think they deserve their lead. I think they've had a bit more of a style which has certainly paid dividends to them.
And they're on the attack again, down their right flank, halfway inside the Mexican half. They're playing some good football as well now, Sweden, buoyed by that goal. Forsberg has it again and finds the goal scorer, and he cuts inside. Can he get a second? Oh, he was close on his right foot this time, Augustinson, and he curled it over the crossbar.
Well, again, great play, and Augustinson comes back in his left foot, looks for the keeper, looks for the player in front of him, tries to bend it round him and put it in the top corner, just a tad too high, and doesn't trouble Majoa.
Well, Sweden are very much in the driving seat now. If they win this game, they will qualify, as long as Germany were to lose or draw against South Korea. But as I said, there's so many permutations. We'll come to that when it matters, as Forsberg breaks forward for them. They're still looking good here, Sweden, just outside the penalty area. He looked for Toivonen, he couldn't find him, and there was Alvarez to clear back to his keeper.
Well, one thing that's clear, Alan, that the Germans will know what's happening in this game, and so will South Korea, and you can't imagine that game will end 0-0, you know, with both teams having an opportunity to qualify. So it's really put a different perspective on this particular game, because Mexico know, even though they're lying second now, it's very unlikely that will be the scenario at the end of the game.
Seb Larsson has gone down injured here for Sweden, with just about 10 minutes on the clock in the second half here in Ekaterinburg. You're listening to the World Cup live on TalkSport 2, your home of exclusive Premier League and English Football League commentaries. And don't forget, we'll be bringing you all the cricket action from the England tours of the West Indies and Sri Lanka this summer. Tomorrow morning, by the way, from 10 o'clock, you can join Ray Stubbs on Football First. Ray and Adrian Clark will be discussing the top football stories and looking ahead to another big day at the 2018 World Cup. You're not missing any action at the moment, as Seb Larsson is down receiving treatment. Your essential roundup of Thursday morning's top sports stories. For that, join World Cup Sports Day from 7. Russell Hargreaves and Lisa O'Sullivan looking ahead to England's group decider against Belgium.
Well, as we're seeing Larson laying down on the ground, certainly seeing with treatment, there's 4 FIFA medical team around him, the stretchers out. They're very concerned. Can only imagine the change.
There didn't appear to be anyone near him, and that often leads to the more serious injuries, doesn't it? Not entirely sure why he went down, but certainly he's down and, so to speak, out, because he's just been lifted onto a stretcher. A man who has such wide experience of life in the Premier League and indeed in the Championship.
He's off the stretcher. He's got his hands over his head, being carried off by the 4 FIFA medical team. Big blow for Larson.
Yeah, that's a shame. Coming on in his place, wearing number 13, Gustav Svensson, who was a substitute in the last 10 minutes against South Korea. A defender or defensive midfielder, who plays in the MLS in the United States for one of their top clubs, Seattle Sounders. So Svensson on for Larson. Mexico return the ball to Sweden, who lead by 1-0 here. 11 minutes gone in the second half.
Yeah, what can Mexico do? How can they turn this game around? Because they haven't really caused Sweden enough problems. I think they find it so difficult to handle the long ball that Sweden are doing so often, and the work rate of Sweden, they find it difficult to match.
You're listening to World Cup Live right here on TalkSport 2, where in Ekaterinburg we are approaching 58 minutes on the clock, and it is Mexico 0, Sweden 1. A rare goal for Ludvig Augustinsson, the left back from Werder Bremen, and Sweden has given the Swedes a glimpse of a place in the knockout round. And they're playing really well here. They've been very positive right from the start of the second half. They have the ball down near the Mexican corner flag with Marcus Berg. He had a chance himself to give them the lead in the first half. He plays it back to Ekdal. Ekdal all the way back into his own half to skipper Granqvist on the halfway line. He just sold the dummy there to 2 Mexican players and wheels it out to the far side of the field. Great play by the skipper. In it comes from the right back Lustig into the penalty area, and a header on target by Berg, but no power behind it, straight through to the goalkeeper. Now he's gone down injured, with the Mexican fans and indeed 1 or 2 of their players believing that Sweden are up to a few acts of, do they call it game management now?
Well, again, I mean, I'm looking at Marcus Berg. He's holding his ribs here, but this was again a ball that's been pinged in at the far post area. Marcus Berg attacks it, gets a header, okay, and it's comfortable for Ochoa. But again, that far post ball that's caused Mexico so many problems today. Getting frustrated, the Mexican coach, understandably why. We've had over the last 3 or 4 minutes, we've seen Larson go off injured. Now Marcus Berg is down. Now he's up.
No wonder he's getting frustrated. But remember, Mexico can lose here and still qualify if Germany were to lose or draw against South Korea, and at the moment they are drawing. No goals in Kazan. We'll let you know if there is one.
I imagine how nervous they're going to be, though. I don't think that game is going to end that way. I'll personally be hugely surprised, and I think Mexico know they've got to get level terms here.
Yeah, they can't gamble, they can't take chances, and they're on the attack now down the left-hand side of the field with Gallardo, plays it in field. And Sweden have got a lot of men back here and win the ball back off Vela. This is the danger now for Mexico. They could break as they're doing here with Forsberg, Sweden, and they've won it back again inside the centre circle. They've got 3 men against 2 defenders at the moment. Forsberg is perfectly placed. Strong challenge comes in. Sweden appeal for the penalty, and the referee points to the spot. Moreno pleads with the Argentine official, but he has given a penalty this time. He turned one down in the first half. This time he has said penalty and a yellow card for the offender.
And he's indicated immediately he's not going to go for evidence. To look, this is very harsh on Moreno. I think Marcus Berg's just lost slight control of the ball. If anything, it's Marcus Berg's leg that goes into Moreno. That's a very harsh decision.
But his refuse has gone immediately. I'm not looking at VAR.
Yep, Moreno incidentally, if they do get through, that's his second yellow card, so he would miss the next match. If there's going to be one for Mexico, who now face going 2 goals behind here, and that will give them a massive problem. So, Ochoa, who's made a couple of excellent saves, the veteran goalkeeper in his 4th World Cup for his country, will face Granqvist, the Swedish captain, who scored the penalty winner in this group against South Korea. It's likely to be his final World Cup, Granqvist, who plays in the Russian league, so there'll be a few Russian fans willing him on here. He stares at the ball, he won't look at the goalkeeper, he backs away. We've had just over an hour in Ekaterinburg. Sweden lead by 1-0 against Mexico. Are they about to make it 2-0? It's been a long delay before the referee finally whistles to let him step up and take this penalty kick. He does now, and finds the top of the net. Sweden could be on their way to the round of 16. They lead Mexico 2-0. Mexico suddenly have a big problem to solve here.
Well, I can only say that Mexico have found it very difficult to handle Sweden all afternoon, and although I thought it was a very fortuitous penalty to be given, but Granqvist takes it in a Harry Kane style, absolutely whips it into the top corner. Fabulous penalty, and give Ochoa no chance of making a save. 2-0, and I've got to say I would have changed it probably 10 minutes ago for Mexico, because I never really felt they were causing Sweden enough problems. So at the moment, Mexico are holding on and hoping the result goes their way in the other match between Korea and Germany.
Indeed, so Sweden move on to 6 points, and now of course they've got a +2 goal difference, which gives Mexico a further problem, as I said, because their goal difference, which was +2 before kickoff, has now been wiped out. So Mexico have got to produce something here, and as you say, so have Germany in the other game, or indeed South Korea. It is still so convoluted and complicated, this group.
Well, doesn't it make it more of a chance for, obviously, I just can't imagine the game is going to end 0-0 in Korea versus Germany. I'd be amazed. Mexico, for me, have looked quite predictable in the way they're trying to play, and Sweden looks so comfortable. Apart from the odd piece of footwork from one of their wide players in Lozano or Vela, I think otherwise they've really struggled.
You're listening to World Cup Live right here on TalkSport 2. It is Mexico 0, Sweden 2. 2 early second half goals by the Swedes. Augustinsson, the left back, scoring from close range, and then Granqvist, the central defender and captain, with a penalty a couple of minutes ago. But Mexico are on the attack with Lozano, edge of the Swedish penalty area. When he looks up, all he can see is yellow shirts at the moment. Now they manage to get the cross in, and Sweden, as they have done in the whole match, deal with it. Comes back in then from Salcedo, a diving header away there by Granqvist on the edge of his own box. It's gone out of play for a Mexican throw midway inside Sweden's half.
And one thing we must mention, Alan, is that one thing's for sure now, that Korea are not going to be able to qualify, are they? So,
no.
You know, that's really put a stumbling block on their chances.
Remember, Sweden will qualify if they get a better result than Germany, who are at the moment being held by South Korea. But Mexico are in the mix as well, of course. And they've just conceded a needless free kick there, deep inside the Swedish half, which the Argentine referee, who looks like a man not to meddle with, has given, and a word of warning as well, to the Mexican offender. Now they're about to make a change here. It will be the first substitution. Gallardo, the man cautioned in the first 15 seconds of the game, remember, has been replaced by an attacking midfielder in Marco Fabian, who plays for Eintracht Frankfurt. That was his first appearance here in these finals. He played 3 times for them in Brazil in the World Cup finals 4 years ago. Mexico have possession halfway inside their own half with Herrera. They could not have expected this, Mexico. They were in pole position, remember, with a maximum 6 points at kick-off. Sweden have a man injured again. There's a lot of gamesmanship going on, I think, from the Swedes. Larson was clearly injured because he was stretchered off and substituted. One or two of those who's gone down since, I'm not totally convinced, were injured. Anyway, play has gone on. Mexico not interested in knocking the ball out of play here. And why should they be? Vela has the ball for them, halfway inside the Swedish half. Just plays it to his left, to the man who's just come on, and the substitute hits a wonderful long-range effort that was only just over the crossbar. Good introduction for Javier.
Striking well, Fabian. Comes on his right foot, hits it. It does get a deflection. He's hit a ball from 26, 27 yards, and Grunqvist gets a little touch and flicks it over. But it was going at pace.
And now Sweden will be able to attend to their injured man. I think it's Marcus Berg. He's a long way upfield here. Yeah, it is Marcus Berg. And he did, to be fair, get an elbow in the face there from Carlos Salcedo. An accidental one, I think, but a painful one nonetheless. Salcedo certainly didn't believe it. As Berg now gets to his feet, he is indicating that it was a deliberate elbow. Anyway, Sweden are going to make their change as well now. The man who's come on as a late substitute in the first two ties, Kistelin, the Anderlecht striker, might be replacing Berg. We shall see.
Yeah,
I think he's going to. Berg is limping off as well as holding his painful jaw now. When he reaches the touchline, he will be replaced by Kistelin, who immediately goes to help defend this corner kick. So his first duty is a defensive one. And in it comes towards the far post. Food and drink for the Swedish defenders, but the loose ball lands on the edge of the box with Herrera for Mexico. Back to Carlos Vela, edge of the penalty box. No good ball into the far post, but once again, although this time Mexico did win the header through Carlos Salcedo. Sweden love that. They'll defend those kind of things all day.
Yeah, they're comfortable. I think they've got to avoid trying to put the ball into danger areas with height, because Sweden are so comfortable. I think another thing that's very, very important for Mexico is they don't lose their discipline, because they've got a few players on a yellow card and they've been upset by the penalty decision. Well, okay, it's gone against you, but don't go to 10 men, because that is, I can feel the Mexican players are getting caught up with the game and are making a few more rash challenges.
So at the moment, the world champions Germany, who haven't gone out at the group stage for something like 80 years, believe it or not, are indeed facing elimination. Sweden are top of the group. Mexico, with their 6 points, are in second place, and Germany are third. So Germany need to do something over there in Kazan. So do Mexico here in Ekaterinburg, just to be safe. They had the ball just outside the Swedish penalty area, but Sweden cleared their lines. Ekdal has overrun it, slid in, but was dispossessed. So Mexico threatened again, left edge of the penalty area. Poor ball, but a second opportunity for them. Played in behind. But they keep possession just outside the box with Guardado, the captain. Now he moves into the penalty area, plays it to his right to Alvarez near the corner flag. Now he runs straight into the goal scorer Augustinsson, claims a free kick, and that's exactly what he's going to get. Augustinsson displeased with the referee, a free kick it is.
Well, he's managed this game particularly well, I think, this referee. He seems to know when players are acting slightly. Okay, he's given them a foul. These situations don't really suit Mexico, because unless they find a free kick and keep it on the ground, everything that's in the air, there's only one winner, and that's been a Sweden player.
Huge celebrations already amongst the Mexican fans behind that goal, just because they've won this free kick, but they need to do better than they have done from their earlier set pieces. Fabian, who's made a big impact since coming off the bench, is one of those over the ball for them here. Will he take it, Mike Fitted, or leave it to Herrera? No, it is Fabian. It's in towards the far post, and the header over the crossbar from Javier Hernandez. Goal kick.
Well, he's renowned for finding a bit of space in the 18-yard box, Hernandez. He finds himself clear nearly on the penalty spot. very difficult header. He's had to literally dive and chuck himself at the ball and can't keep it down. The Mexico coach is probably wondering how we're going to get ourselves back into this game. They haven't really shown enough, especially in the last 30 minutes or so.
20 minutes to go. You're listening to TalkSport 2's live coverage from this World Cup Group F game. As things stand, it's going to be Sweden and Mexico qualifying for the round of 16, and the world champions Germany are facing elimination. They're 0-0 still against South Korea. How badly do they need a goal? Sweden defending on the very edge of their own penalty area, but defending well. Just thumped upfield now, anywhere will do, and why not? Because they've got a 2-0 lead. Both the goals coming early in the second half. Augustinsson and a penalty by Granqvist. Sweden, well, they're used to this kind of defending. They're a team who don't have much possession in games, and they're good at it. They're very good at it.
Well, I think Mexico found it very difficult to get Lozano in the game in the second half. He's hardly got a kick on the left side. He's their danger man. He's the one that looks like he can be, that produce a moment of magic. They just can't get him the ball.
And now Mexico have given it away, so Sweden break down the right-hand side, and marked in the middle there is Toivonen right there to the box. Good tackle on him, though, to deny him by Moreno, which gives Mexico a real flow to this game now. You attack, we defend, you defend. 71 minutes gone. You're listening to World Cup Live right here on TalkSport 2. The scoreline is Mexico 0, Sweden 2. Mexico have possession just outside Sweden's penalty area. Once again, they defend their lines well, but back comes Mexico with Moreno, the central defender, now spending more time in the Swedish half than his own, and that's a danger, of course, because Sweden, just like Mexico were against Germany in their opening game, are pretty good on the counter-attack. Alvarez has it from Mexico, the right back, runs into trouble, and this is where Sweden can break and maybe outnumber Mexico, which they're doing in this attack. They've got 4, possibly 5 men forward. Toivonen slows it down, however, on the left touchline, just inside the Mexican half, gets it back, clever little flick round the corner, and then a clear foul, I thought, by Guardado, despite his protests, will give Ekdal the chance to win a free kick for Sweden, which the referee has given.
Yeah, and the foul's on Augustinsson, the goal scorer. Or Ekdal he's gone to ground quite easily, but I agree with you, Alan, it is a foul. They're getting so frustrated, Mexico. I just think they've been caught up with the way Sweden have played. They've not played their game.
Germany, the world champions, going out. 73 minutes gone here. Sweden lead 2-0. The free kick is played high towards the edge of the penalty area, where it is cleared by Salcedo, but that's going to be a throw-in to Sweden deep inside the Mexican half. Just what they want. They can keep the ball at this end of the field. They're home and dry.
This is the type of game, if you're a Mexican fan and you're looking at the other game more than this game, you're half an eye on watching how Germany are doing, because you know that you're probably going to need a favour.
In comes Klassen's long throw to Kistelin. Oh, the ball has gone in. It's an own goal. An own goal by Edson Alvarez has suddenly given Mexico a real problem here. They are now 3-0 behind, and surely Sweden are on their way to victory and on their way to the round of 16.
Well, there's an argument in football they can play the beautiful way and try and, win games in style, but this has all been effective. This is a long throw that gets flicked on, and yes, the Mexican defenders find it very difficult, and you're seeing an own goal. You're looking at a team that have been totally undone today by set pieces, and Edson certainly gets caught far post area with an own goal, and 3-0, and it's all been about direct football from Sweden today.
Well, he almost knocked it in with his hand in the end. I think in trying to prevent the ball going in off his body, he used his hand to keep it out, but it sneaked into the corner, and Mexico are 3-0 down here.
Edson Alvarez with the own goal.
Well, who would have expected this scoreline? And in response, they've made yet another change here. Mexico, and trying to get back into this game immediately as the ball comes out to Carlos Vela. Carlos Vela can't control it. Mexico, left edge of the Swedish penalty area. Twists and turns there. Lozano gets it out to the left. In comes the cross. And again, it's easy for Sweden to deal with. But now the substitute, Jesus Corona, manages to see the ball out of play because he knew it was going to be a corner for Mexico.
Well, I said it at the start of the game, it's nearly a waste of time, Mexico having set pieces.
Corona knocks one into the middle. Oh, could they scramble this one in? It was a wonderful save there by Olsen, but the whistle had gone anyway. I think even if it had gone in, it would have been disallowed for offside, but pats on the back for Olsen, rightly so.
Well, it's so difficult for them because they're up against a big physical team. They've been caught in their style and it's totally stopped. Have you seen the Mexico? And it is right, it is definitely offside. Have you ever seen the game with Germany versus Mexico? Mexico did play their own game and were brilliant for an hour in that game. They found it impossible because Sweden do not let their fullbacks go forward. Everybody's in a line of four, so it's so hard for you to find space. And it's been so effective.
Well, the result here is surely done and dusted because you cannot see Mexico coming back into this.
No.
So it's all about what happens in Kazan in the other game, which will have a dramatic effect on the outcome here. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to World Cup Live right here on TalkSport 2, where it is in Ekaterinburg, Mexico 0, Sweden 3. At the moment, it means that Sweden top the group and Mexico are in second place. But the Germany-South Korea game, of course, is going on simultaneously with this. Germany need a win.
Yep.
Well,
one thing's for sure, Alan.
Yeah,
Sweden are through.
Yeah, Sweden surely now are in an unassailable position and on their way to the knockout round. Mexico come forward just outside the Swedish penalty area. Sweden close the door again. Stelling, who came on and played a significant part in that own goal that has given them the 3-0 lead, has now lost possession. So Mexico now face 11 yellow-shirted Swedish players back behind the ball. Corona, the substitute, comes on and clips it goalwards, but that'll be an easy one for Robin Olsen to take, and Corona holds up his hand and apologises to his teammates for that. And Mexican fans looking on anxiously. Well, in the old days it would have been transistor radios, if anyone is old enough to remember them, bringing them news from the other game. These days, of course, everyone on the planet seems to own a mobile phone, so they'll be checking the scores, I'm sure, from Kazan, and just hoping that South Korea can continue to hold out against Germany. If Mexico lose, remember, they will still qualify if Germany lose or draw against South Korea, and they are drawing 0-0 at the moment. Wow, what a dramatic situation we have here. It was always going to be like this, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Although I don't think we expected this scoreline.
Well, one thing's for sure, I bet a bottom dollar that this game finishes before the other one as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Well, it will probably, won't it? Because we've had Larsson's injury, we've had a couple of other Swedish players go down, so there's going to be a fair old slab of stoppage time. I'm sure you're right there. Herrera, meantime, on the ball, finds Carlos Vela from Mexico, halfway inside the Swedish half. It's been just too easy for the Swedish back four and their defensive midfielders to clear Mexico's threats, though. Herrera has the ball, plays it to the edge of the area, goes for the return, and he's dispossessed. So Forsberg will bring it away, and every time they counter-attack like this, now with Keith Stelling, Sweden look a real threat. 4 men forward once again, a better ball there from the substitute, and they could have been in again.
I can only say that Mexico totally played into the hands of Sweden. I think they've just fallen into the trap of trying to cross balls and playing quite direct themselves at times. They're a football team.
Here they go, directly with Lozano, brought down by Granqvist just outside the Swedish penalty area. A set piece, one that they don't need to knock into the middle this time. This is a shooting opportunity for their best, probably left-footed player.
Yeah, this is a golden opportunity for them as Sweden make the substitution again, their third one.
Yeah, Oscar Hilgemar will be coming on in place of Ekdal. who will take his time if the referee will allow him to get to the touchline. And Hilgemont just gets his last minute instructions. Plays for Genoa in Italy, although he was on loan last season for the Greek club Panathinaikos, captain of their successful under-21 teams that won the European title. Carlos Vela is lining up this free kick for Mexico about 5 or 10 yards outside the Swedish penalty area. Robin Olsen, the Swedish goalkeeper, bouncing up and down on his line, expecting the left foot shot here from Vela. And that's what happens, but it's straight into the wall. Disappointing again. Now Fabian, one of the Mexican substitutes, has the ball, plays it out to the left flank. Sweden with 11 men almost back behind the ball. Only Forsberg in an advanced position at the moment, as Herrera plays it to the left edge of the penalty area. Now it's with Corona, the substitute, who twists and turns and gets inside the penalty area, hits it towards the far post. Chance here for Mexico, and they've missed another golden opportunity to find the net. Two players could have scored there very easily, including Javier Hernandez. Both of them missed, Carlos Vela being the other.
Well, Corona does absolutely brilliant on the far post area. He whips the ball in. This looks like a play. It's nearly going out of play, and Hernandez hits and strikes the ball, takes it on the chest, hits it with his right foot, pings it across the face of the goal. It goes towards Carlos Vela, who gets a header, but it comes at him so quick, I don't think he can direct the header, and he goes out for a goal kick to Sweden.
And even a Mexican goal probably at this moment won't make the most significant difference here. Because as things stand, remember, Sweden are top of the group, Mexico are still in second place, and incredibly South Korea are still holding Germany to a draw. So it's Sweden top by dint of their better goal difference, Mexico holding on to second place. And they're all looking at their mobile phones now in the crowd. Mainly the Mexicans, I have to say, because Sweden, well, they know they're virtually home and dry here. It would take a most astounding turn of events for them not to go through now. So the Swedes looking happy, even though Mexico had possession again with the lively substitute Corona halfway inside the Swedish half. He's run into trouble this time. Can he keep the ball in play? No, he can't, and it'll be a throw-in to the Swedes. They reached the round of 16 in the last 3 World Cups they've qualified for, Sweden, and it looks as though they're going to again.
It's quite amazing. You're seeing images of the crowd, and you see looking people who have just got their phones out. It's literally everybody to a man. Every Mexican supporter has got their phone, and it's certainly not on this game.
Handball by Mexico, by Herrera, midway inside the Swedish half. You're listening to World Cup Live right here on TalkSport 2, where the scoreline is Mexico 0, Sweden 3. In Kazan, it is still South Korea 0, Germany 0. And if the scores remain that way, the world champions Germany are on their way home. Sweden and Mexico will be going through to the round of 16. But it could all change in an instant. It takes seconds to score a goal. As Carlos Vela brings Mexico forward for the umpteenth time, finding Corona in the outside right position. He has to play it back into his own half to Alvarez, the unfortunate defender who scored the own goal that has given Sweden this 3-0 lead. 84 minutes on the clock now as Mexico come forward again. Sweden just close the door effectively once more, and it's Granqvist in the end who clears at the expense of a throw-in opposite the 18-yard line.
That was great defended by Sweden. It was a little ball played in here. We've seen so many times a forward get taken down for a penalty, and Linderoth, he absolutely knew his duty just to keep his feet, not lose his head.
Well, they have the ball again here, and Corona this time crosses from the right flank and straight into the hands of Olsen.
He's done well since he's come on, Corona. He's caused certainly the goal scorer, Augustinsson, a few problems. Got a few balls into danger areas. Mainly comfortable for Sweden. I just think if they can find the ball that's either a bit too long or a bit short, anything in the middle, a Sweden player is heading it out.
Sweden are on their way through. They will qualify, remember, as long as they win this one, which they clearly are going to do, and Germany and South Korea, they get the result they want there. Now they have got the result they want from that latest Mexican attack, which is a goal kick. The ball has gone out of play with just a little over 5 minutes remaining, and as you rightly say, it is likely, well listen, we don't know what's going on in terms of stoppage time in Kazan, do we? But there will be a fair bit here.
Yeah, there will be. Just so many times we see that dramatic moment. We've seen it with Ronaldo with Spain, we've seen it with Cruz with Germany. Late goals. Spain did it, didn't they?
Yeah.
You know, I could see this being a dramatic ending. At the moment, Mexico, they'd just be nervous, and they've got to keep their discipline in this game.
They didn't in that incident where Miguel Layun has conceded a free kick and also picked up a yellow card. Losing track of all the cards now. They're trying to keep track of all the permutations. But with 5 minutes to go, it looks as though both these teams are going to make it through. But as we stress, that can change in an instant.
It's a poor challenge on Toynavan now. It can have no place. Complaints later. It really can't.
Seb Larsson, the man who stretched it off, I'm happy to say, is now sitting on the substitutes bench for Sweden, so not sure how serious his injury is. He'll be keen, of course, if they can make it through, to be fit for their round of 16 game against, who knows, against who, because the other group in which they will face winners or runners-up is equally complicated. But Sweden here have removed a lot of complications by sweeping to a 3-0 lead. And we're in the last 4 minutes here. This has been a lengthy stoppage after that free kick and yellow card from Miguel Layun. But Sweden don't mind that. They're in no great hurry to take it here. Why should they be? Keystadin is waiting for the ball to be played up to the penalty area, but they played it down the right touchline instead. Just trying to get the ball in the corner and waste a bit more time, which they've done. Mexico have a free kick.
One thing's for sure, we're probably going to get in the region of between 5 and 6 minutes of extra time or injury time, because there's been, like you said, Larsson's injury, a few stops. Certainly Marcus Berg went down, and substitutions added into that.
Mexico have possession on the halfway line, but again, Sweden, in that disciplined, well-organised style of theirs, get every man back behind the ball. And it's going to be so hard for Mexico to find a way through. And Salcedo has just wasted a long ball, which has been knocked back into the Mexico half. And they have possession out on the left-hand side, just crossing into Swedish territory now. But it's so difficult to pick your way through with careful passing. Can they get the ball into the box this time? Whoa, it's a foul right on the edge of the penalty area. There's yet another yellow card, this time for the right back of Sweden, Mikael Lustig. For that foul, it was right on the edge of the box, so close to giving away a penalty there, Lustig.
Yeah, Lustig literally took. He hasn't been in the game, unfortunately for Mexico. Lozano in this second half. The first time he's really been involved in a one-on-one, a definite free kick.
So it's a matter of a foot or more outside the penalty area. They have wasted every single set piece they've had in these situations so far. Mexico, who are going to bring the player on before the free kick can be taken here, if the referee's attention can be drawn. It's Oribe Peralta, prolific striker who spent his whole career in the Mexican League. Hasn't got much time to do anything here to add to his goal tally, but he's on there in that huge group of players inside the Swedish 6-yard box. It looks like Leon is the man who's been taken off after his yellow card a moment ago. Now, the free kick will come in. The referee has blown the whistle. And it goes towards the near post. And again, Sweden, as they have done for the whole match, deal with it, albeit they have conceded a corner. It was Toivonen who got it away.
How many times has it been a headed clearance? Numerous times this afternoon.
A long-range shot, this time from Lozano, well over the crossbar. He's claiming it flipped off the defender and that they should be getting another corner, but the referee's pointing for a goal kick.
No, again, the referee, I think he calls this right, striking the ball way over, not causing Olsen in the Sweden keeper, no problems. I do wonder, I do think the Mexico coach will look at this game and wonder if he got it tactically wrong today, because I think their approach to the game has been It's just a wrong one. You're playing a team that is direct, and if you're going to get caught by the way they play and they keep putting it in your 18-yard box, they've struggled really to handle Sweden.
And they're really sweating at the moment, Mexico. Remember, these 3 goals mean that they've got a -1 goal difference that could come into play yet. So there's a lot of fretting going on, a lot of glaring at mobile telephone screens as we go into the final seconds here. It is Mexico 0, Sweden 3. It's all about stoppage time. It's all about the game in Kazan as well now. As Mexico attack just outside Sweden's penalty box. So many Swedish bodies in there. They get the ball half clear, but Lozano's picked it up edge of the box and finds Herrera. Herrera can't find room for a shot. Has to play it out to the left-hand side. Moreno, the centre-back, tries to knock it in, and it's gone behind for yet another corner for Mexico. We're going to find out now how much stoppage time has been added. We're already over 90 minutes. They've been a bit slow to indicate the amount of stoppage time here. We'll tell you that as soon as we see it. Meanwhile, the referee just sorting 1 or 2 things out before the corner comes in. It's gone back to outside the penalty area. It's a bit of a waste, really, to the substitute Fabian. Now the ball is out of play, fast out of the field, and in fact, it's a foul by him. And we've been told now that there will be 4 minutes of additional time. 4 minutes has been added, and we're already almost a minute into that.
Yeah, that's been the bare minimum because there's been a number of injuries, plus substitutions. So Mexico are holding their breath. The whole of this stadium is well, I'll say the whole of it. Sweden fans are delighted. I think they thoroughly deserved their victory today.
Yep, victory it most certainly is now. They lead 3-0 in the dying seconds here. You're listening to World Cup Live right here on TalkSport 2. The scoreline is Mexico 0, Sweden 3. In Kazan, it is still, as far as we know, South Korea 0, Germany 0. And if they stay that way, those 2 scorelines, that means that both these teams here are going through. But my word, they're pushing it right up to the dying seconds here. Germany and South Korea still playing in their game in Kazan as Mexico have possession deep inside the Swedish half here. All kinds of roars going around the stadium. Not sure if they've heard anything significant there. 1 or 2 of their fans are cheering as the ball is inside the Swedish penalty area. Sweden managed to get themselves clear. Looks like something has happened, but you've got to be careful on these sort of situations. Sometimes you can get fake news, as Donald Trump would call it. The ball is outside the penalty area, and a long-range shot dropped there. Herrera struck it with his left foot, and the goalkeeper dropped it, but then pounced on the loose ball.
Well, certainly, Alan, the fake news is, if it is, it's Korea that would have scored, because it's all the Mexican fans going crazy. But like you said, these scenarios have happened so often. I've been there myself with news being fed to the team, and you're playing. You just got to keep going.
Yeah, we have not heard anything officially from Kazan that the 0-0 scoreline has changed. So we're going to have to trust in our information rather than the one that seems to have spread among the Mexican fans. Just about a minute and a few seconds remaining here as Sweden defend yet again. Halfway inside their own half, but now Mexico break clear with Lozano, edge of the box. Can he try a shot? Yes, he can. And it's straight into the hands of goalkeeper Olsen. Lozano's had a frustrating day.
Yeah.
We are into the final 60 seconds in Ekaterinburg.
Lozano has certainly had that frustrating day, and that's probably the first time he's managed to get the better of Lustig and go past him. But with less than a minute to go, they're 3-0 down and hanging on, just to wait and see what happens elsewhere.
And Sweden win it back again, but the loose clearance gives them an opportunity. We've just had here's a goal for South Korea. So it's 1-0 to South Korea. So Germany, the world champions, are on their way out. What an incredible turnaround of events. The first time in 80 years. Now those Mexican fans really can celebrate. The first time in 80 years that Germany, one of the all-time great footballing nations, have been eliminated, if they are eliminated, in bottom place in the group stage. The referee's looked at his watch. The Mexican fans are looking at their mobile phones. At the moment, Mexico Mexico and Sweden are going to go through. There's the final whistle. I don't know if they're still playing in Kazan, but one thing is for sure here, Sweden have made it, and Mexico, as it stands, have made it through too. Are they still playing, I wonder, in Kazan, where South Korea